So let's talk OCs. So picture this. You live in a town, in a forest valley, cut off from human society. Why? Because you're a supernatural entity and humans can barely tolerate each other. So that's basically the gist of the setting that my character Eve lives in. She lives in a secret town full of supernatural beings such as werewolves, vampires, fairies, centaurs, mermaids, all that jazz. And with it comes new inspiration for even more OCs. But let's start from the beginning. During one of our camping trips, my sister told me she had a dream that everyone around the world started transforming into supernatural beings. And she dreamt that I turned into an arachne, a spider woman to be precise, which is ironic because I have arachnophobia. But that gave me an interesting idea. A story centered around people who have transformed into supernatural beings that contradict their lifestyles or their fears or whatever. Like how I have arachnophobia but ended up becoming a spider woman. And then it suddenly came to me. What if someone, like a gamer girl, suddenly transformed into a Dryad? And this girl, she hates being outdoors. She snacks on chips and cookies and drowns herself in soda. And now suddenly, she has to force herself to go outside for some sun, water, and dig her roots into the soil and tolerate all the bugs that come with it. So basically, I imagine her as a character that hates everything that relates to the outdoors. More specifically, things she can control, like the bugs, the sun, the weather, everything about it. But in her comfy gamer room, she has control over everything, over the temperature, over the snacks, over what goes in and out of her room. Basically, it's her own little sanctuary, and now she's being forced out of that sanctuary because as a Dryad, she has to be outdoors and get all the sustenance she needs. Even if it's healthier for her, she absolutely hates it. But hey, that's life. But then I scrapped that idea in favor of the story about the secret town. But still, I wanted my tech-based Dryad. Then inspiration struck yet again. Instead of having her be a gamer girl, I made her into a CEO of a tech company that specializes in putting computer technology into trees, or tree-based technology. Because in a place where magic is possible, why not have tree tech? So she becomes a prevalent figure in the town as someone who has become a revolutionary in technology by creating or inventing tree-based technology. In the town, basically the buildings there are built around trees, or, well, either they're built around trees or are tree houses, but basically they try to make their buildings without, destroying the forest. Because it's good for the forest, as well as the animals, and as well as creatures, or supernatural beings that like to spend their time or either live in trees, such as harpies, fairies, and whatnot. And technically, the trees themselves could become future citizens once they reach a certain age and become dryads themselves. Which is why her tree technology is so progressive, because it gives a chance to bridge a gap between the citizens and the trees before they become dryads, because tree tech helps the spirits of those trees actually interact with the residents in these homes and buildings, or workers, because think of it this way. You know how people interact with AI like Alexa and Siri and such. Well, with tree tech technology, it allows tree spirits to interact with people the same way.
They will be able to access knowledge as well as, among other things, to help people with their day-to-day business. And the best part is that because they are not AI, they can actually remember things and basically like another addition to the family or workforce, where they're basically like your friend. And once those trees do become dryads, they still hold those memories from when they were just simply tree spirits before transforming, and they can still remember the families and the co-workers from when they were still just trees, incorporated with tree technology. So in other words, having a tree in your home in this town is like having a modem, a solar panel, as well as an Alexa, all in one. And it's actually environmentally friendly, and even more so because you basically have another addition to the family, or a roommate that is really super helpful to your everyday life. Now, enough about what she brings to the story. Let's talk about her background as well as her character traits. Starting with why she wanted to create tree technology. Well, some of the residents of the town do sometimes leave the town and come back, bringing news of what's going on with the human world and basically bringing some stuff back, which also included some newly invented computers, which immediately catches her attention. And so it made her hearing about like the potential of computer technology and how it keeps people connected, as well as being able to have knowledge basically at your fingertips. She became very, very interested and wanted something like that for their town. And that basically what leads to her creating a tree tech company. You could say that her motivations lie in wanting a community where everyone can basically band together and feel connected, even if they don't see each other every day. It would also help bridge the gap between the dryads and all the other supernatural species, because unlike some others, dryads don't have traditional families. They don't understand what it means to be an infant, nor do they understand what it means to have parents, among other things. So this would actually be a good experiment to see if dryads could get a sense of being a part of a family. Because in a way, that's what my character, my Dryad OC, wants, to be able to feel what these other supernatural entities feel when part of a family or a coven or just being part of a team. So yeah, I feel like that's a good motivation for her to do what she does. As for her personality, when I was drawing her, I didn't have a clear vision of what her personality would be like. But as I was drawing her leaf hair, I see it so poofy, and I can't help but picture her having a very bombastic personality. Like, she's sassy, she's filled with confidence, she knows how important she is to the town, and, well, she's not shy about flaunting it. And as for any vices she may have, is that she can be a bit too curious. Well, her curiosity is what led to her making the company, the tree tech company. But sometimes, oh yeah, there's this other thing I forgot to mention that she does. She can actually transport herself wherever her roots reach. And sometimes she can overhear people's conversations. Like, well, inner dramas, so to say. So, yeah, she's somewhat of a gossip. As for her name, well, I no longer thought that Naomi is a suitable name for her. But I wanted her name to be strong, that is suited for someone of her position. And basically I just went to fantasy name generator for Dryad names. And eventually I stumbled onto a Connie. And I thought, that actually has a ring to it. And I thought, hey, they can give her the nickname Connie. And I thought that was so cute because those who are long-lived, who knew her from the moment that she became a Dryad, act like old friends and say, hey, Connie! And only, like, her close friends can call her that. So I had a really fun time drawing her. I have to say my favorite part was drawing the hair. It actually surprised me how poofy it turned out, even though her hair is made out of oak leaves. Oh, and here's a funny thing that actually happened recently. When I showed my mom the finished result of this, she immediately knew that it was an oak tree. Like, she's like, I know a white oak when I see one. And that actually made me feel very, very proud because that was exactly what I was going for. And I did the leaves right. I am so glad. It feels like such an accomplishment that someone could immediately see that they were oak leaves. Oh, and another thing, the mushrooms that you see on her front are actually Dryad mushrooms that usually grow on trees. And when I was like looking up what kind of mushrooms I should use, and saw the Dryad mushroom, I was like, okay, I gotta use that. And so, meet Connie, the Dryad CEO of Tree Tech. And like I said before, I'm very proud of how she turned out. Thank you for reaching the end of this video. And remember, if you like my artwork, I have a Ko-fi page where I do art commissions and accept donations. Speaking of donations, we still have a little ways to go before we could reach our goal to get the money for Boo's treatment. So whether you donate or share my sister's GoFundMe, anything will be greatly appreciated. And with that, I wish you all a wonderful life and a Merry Christmas. Bye!